Hello and welcome to a new episode of Suicide Story. I am Alejandro.
And I am Angie. Okay. Today I bring you on the very better story about Quran the change in the world. It's about a girl that told is all the truth meaning of Bible.
That's right, we're talking about Malala Yousafzai, a young woman from Pakistan who became the voice of millions of girls fighting for their right to education. Her journey shows us how one life-changing event can inspire global change.
Let's begin with the early life. Malala was born in the 1927 in Bingora, Pakistan, in the Belfast State Valley. Her father, Xiaolin, was a teacher who ran the school of girls, so education was always valued in her family.
In fact, her name comes from a famous Afghan heroine, Malala of Maiwand, which shows how much her family believed in strong women. From a very young age, she was an excellent student who loved learning.
However, everything changed in the 2008 when the Taiwan took control in the same May. This was the major turning point in her life. They began destroying the schools and banning girls from getting an education.
Can you imagine being 10 years old and begging to you can never go to school again? For Malala, this was absolutely devastating, but instead of being up, she found a way to speak out.
In early 2009, she began reading an anonymous blog in the BBC producer service in the name Kurt McKay. In the diary, she described what is was like in a live under Taiwan rule, the fear, the violence, and the her body desire to learn.
Her blog became incredibly popular and some international journalists were interviewing her, but as her fame grew, so died to danger, the Taliban didn't like that young girl was challenging their authority.
The situation becomes so dangerous that her family considered stopping her attempts. However, Malala realized so strongly in her because that she continued speaking out.
There came the day that would change everything on October 9, 2012, while reading the school bus home, a Taliban gunman boarded and asked for her name. He shot her in the head, leaving her fighting for her life.
This traumatic experience shocked the entire world. People everywhere, everywhere prayed for her recovery after emerging to her in Pakistan. She was flown to the United Kingdom of special treatments.
Miraculously, she survived after weeks in the hospital and multiple surgeries. She began her recovery. This life-altering event didn't break her spirit instantly. It made her more determined than ever.
Since her recovery, Malala has achieved global recognition for her work. She has stopped fainting of education rates. In fact, she became ever more powerful and influential.
She has accomplished so much in such a short time. In 2013, she and her father, Contefur the Malala Fund, an organization dedicated to ensuring every girl can complete 13 years of free, safe, quality education.
The following years, in 2014, she received the Nobel Peace Prize, becoming the youngest ever Nobel laureate at just 17 years old. She's groundbreaking achievement in history and broken even more attention to her cause.
She else wrote the best-selling book, I Am Malala, which has been published in many languages and has inspired millions of young people around the world.
And she has finished the higher education aid in 2020. She graduated from the University of Oxford with an degree in psychology, policy, and economics. Other personal accomplishments that show here coming to learn.
Now let's talk about what can learn from Malala's incredible journey. Her story teaches you several important lessons that apply to all of us.
54 is the in the just number within the comment of making difference. She didn't have money, policy, and power of every safety, but she had current and powerful messages that resonate worldwide.
In addition, her story proves that education is about more than just books and exams. It's about freedom, empowerment, and having choice in life. When we education girls, we transform communities, and entire nations.
On the other hand, her expensive teacher was the old racing chance can become over the score that shares she faced in the wicked villains, but she used the expression to foil the determination for a great chance.
Perhaps most importantly, she shows us that we must stand up for what believing in. Even while its difficulty or danger, her lasting legacy is just in the awards she won. But I am millions of girls who are in schools today because of her bravery.
In conclusion, Malala Yousafzai has shown us the true subject isn't measured by personal wit or fame, but by the positive impact we live in our life. Her work continues to inspire new generations of activities.
She once said, when the world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful. Her voice and the millions of voices she has inspired continue to edge around the world, demanding education and equality for all.
Thank you for joining us for the inspired episode of the shocking story. My Malala Congress speech with you as much as it inspired us.